Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have Tuesday, June 24th, and a poll that just came out yesterday shows a very close race in the New York City mayoral Democratic primary where Zohran Mamdani has officially caught Andrew Cuomo in the ranked choice final round of voting. In a new poll that was released by Emerson College and in coordination with Pix 11 and The Hill, found that the New York City Democratic mayoral primary has former Governor Andrew Cuomo leading with 35%, followed closely by Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani at 32%, Comptroller Brad Lander at 13%, City Council Speaker Adrian Adams at 8%, Scott Stringer at 3%, and 4% of voters remain undecided ahead of Tuesday's election. Since last month's poll conducted by Emerson, Mamdani has gained 10 points on the initial ballot test, rising from 22% up to 32%, while Cuomo gained only 1 point from 34 to 35. So this is consistent with a lot of other polls that we've seen where Mamdani's support has been rapidly rising going into the final days and now final hours of the campaign. The survey allowed voters to rank up to 5 candidates in order of preference. The ranked choice voting simulation over 8 rounds ends with Mamdani at 52% and Cuomo at 48%. A quote from the poll's conductor of the poll: over 5 months, Mamdani's support has surged from 1% to 32%, while Cuomo finishes near where he began, said Spencer Kimball, executive director of Emerson College Polling. In the ranked choice simulation, Mamdani gains 18 points compared to Cuomo's 12, putting him ahead in the final round for the first time in an Emerson poll, and I believe for the first time in most polls that have been conducted so far. Voters who have already cast their ballots during the New York City early voting period break for Mamdani, who holds a 10-point lead over Cuomo, 41 to 31%. In contrast, among those who plan to vote on Election Day or have not yet voted at the time of the survey, Cuomo leads over them with 36%, followed by Mamdani at 31%. The first round of ranked choice voting simulation includes 800 voters with a margin of error of 3.4%. The final round includes 729 with a margin of error of 3.6%. So this race is right around that margin of error threshold. In the final round of things, you can make the argument that, or you could argue that Zohran Mamdani's lead is slightly outside of it, but it is very close. Undecided voters are excluded from the ranked choice simulation. In the final round of ranked choice voting, several demographic trends emerge. It says that voters under 50 break for Mamdani by a 2 to 1 margin, while Cuomo leads among those aged 50 to 59 and voters 60 and over. It shows that Hispanic voters support Cuomo 60 to 40 and black voters favor Cuomo 62 to 38. Mamdani leads among white voters 61 to 39 and Asian voters 79 to 21. Cuomo leads over Mamdani among voters with a 4-year college degree, 61 to 39, while Mamdani leads Cuomo among college-educated voters, 62 to 38. Men support Mamdani 56 to 44, while women lean towards Cuomo 52 to 48. And then it also goes over the methodology of the poll as well. This is very big because right now when you look at all the polls that have been done on this race, Cuomo leading at +3 on the first choice or in the first round of voting is one of the closer polls that we've seen thus far, and only a day or two out from Election Day shows this race is going to be very close. But the final round, having Mamdani winning at +4, is the first poll we've seen to have Mamdani defeating Andrew Cuomo in the final poll. And again, this is happening just before Election Day. I don't have it in this video, but I did see a report that a YouGov poll was coming out also that shows Andrew Cuomo leading over Zohran Mamdani, so it's possible that come Election Day, it ends up happening, Cuomo holds on, or Mamdani does end up winning. This poll was onto something. But the trend has been very clear here that Zohran Mamdani has been gaining a lot of momentum in this race going into the final weeks and now the final days and the final hours, where Zohran Mamdani, depending on voter turnout, may have enough support to end up eking out a very narrow victory in the final round of ranked choice voting. But again, we're going to have to wait and see how this all goes because this is going to be very close. The polling shows it's going to be close. For a while, it looked like Andrew Cuomo had about a 10-point lead in the final round, but this is the first non-affiliated poll that shows Mamdani leading, and on the first round of things, shows Cuomo leading by under about 10 points. So this is certainly going to be very close, and we're going to have to wait and see how this all unfolds. Do I think this poll is the accurate poll or an outlier? I honestly think it's really tough to say. because Cuomo getting about 36% support in the first round, Mamdani getting 34%, it's not really too much of a difference from what we've seen in some of the other polls that have been done so far, other than the fact Mamdani gets up to about 34% and Cuomo's only at 36%. This is one of the lower numbers we've seen Cuomo have in any of these polls done so far. The other candidates like Brad Lander at 13 and Adrian Adams at 8 certainly makes a lot of sense. The main wild card that I'm watching for in this race is that 13% for Brad Lander, because Brad Lander and Zohran Mamdani have an agreement in place where they co-endorse each other, so whichever candidate ends up being one of the final two against Cuomo have vowed to support them in trying to stop Andrew Cuomo from being the Democratic nominee. So I would bet a lot of that 13% are going to go for Mamdani. The question is, will enough of the other candidates' support going to Andrew Cuomo be enough to keep Cuomo from winning, or will he be able to win the primary? It's going to be very interesting to watch for. Again, it'll be happening tonight around, I believe, 9 p.m. The polls close in New York, and there has been a good amount of early voting done, so we should get some initial results as well. I'm not sure it's going to be all done today. I think it's possible this may even go on for a week with the ranked choice voting process. I don't think it's going to get done in the first ballot, but again, stay tuned as I'll be doing more videos updating on that front. But this poll is very close as it factors in. Again, it's the only poll that shows Mamdani leading, and we saw a lot of turbulence in this race in the last few hours with a lot of political markets like PredictIt and Polymarket saying that Zohran Mamdani is now above of Andrew Cuomo. It's gone back and forth a lot throughout the day. Last time I checked, it was around Cuomo plus, I want to say, about 15 points or so. So it's certainly gone back and forth, but the momentum for Zohran Mamdani is certainly happening here. And coming into the final hours for this race, it really could not be closer. Just to give you an idea again of what we're looking at here, of all the candidates who are running: Adrian Adams, Selma Bartholomew, Michael Blake, Andrew Cuomo, Brad Lander, Zohran Mamdani, Zelnor Myrie, Paperboy Prince, Jessica Ramos, and Scott Stringer, and Whitney Tulson are all on the New York City Democratic mayor primary ballot. They're facing off to be the Democratic nominee. They'll be facing off against Curtis Sliwa, the Republican nominee, in November, and two independents who are running as well. The current incumbent mayor, Eric Adams, is now running as an independent, and Jim Waldron, an antitrust government law attorney. So this primary has been very competitive, but it is looking like we're going to start to get a very clear picture in the next few days or so who will be the Democratic nominee. And in New York City, one of the most Democratic areas in the United States, it is more likely than not going to be that Democrat will probably become the next mayor of New York City. But in the final hours of this primary, it's getting very close. It's going to be very competitive, and I can't wait to see how this all goes down. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you did. Also, make sure to check out, I made an election night prediction for this race, going full in depth of all the ranked choice voting. Last night came out around 5 p.m., so make sure to check that out on my channel as well, as that does a very good in-depth look at how I think this race is going to go down. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video.